Hi guys. Oh, I just probably look real ghetto just now. Please forgive me. But anyway. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Sadia. Tanner Rap the Chosen One is what I go by on YouTube. So if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So I wanted to do, hopefully, prayerfully, a quick video. Talking about something that is very special to me, that's near and dear to me, that's something I like to talk about, is your spiritual animal totem / divine synchronicity, and how to understand it, and like what does it mean? Like, is this a thing? Yes, it's a thing. Okay. So I just want to jump into it because this is something I get excited about, because it's just an example how much God is in tune with us and how much he loves us. Okay. So I want you to know what it is and what it means, and to really cherish it and understand it, and to interpret it when it happens to you, because it probably happens every day. You probably just don't know what it is or overlook it. So as of right now, my profession is a director of a preschool. So I do have staff members, and one of my lead teachers by the name of Carla, hey girl, text me because like they know that I'm in clergy, that I'm into crystals and I'm into spirituality, and I let them know, like, when God is communicating with us. So anytime something esoteric or supernatural happens, they come to who? Me. As they should. So she texted me like, I think she was doing something at home and she felt something looking at her, right? So she said when she looked out the window, and she sent me a picture of it, and it was so beautiful, because I knew that this was God contacting her or talking to her or confirming things for her. So she took a picture of what it was, a mourning dove, turtle dove, right? And so she was like, I felt something looking at me. And this bird was looking at her so long and so strong. Like, she felt it. Like how, we're in a store, we're out, and like you feel somebody looking at you without even noticing. Then you turn back and it's really somebody staring at you. It was like that. It was just an animal. So, I'm like, how long has it been there? Because it was like on like her windowsill. She was like, oh my God, for like an hour. I'm like, yo, that is not normal. I said, one, that's definitely your spirit animal or totem. And two, Google what it means. I said, because clearly your angels and God has a message for you, because again, God doesn't have a YouTube channel. He can't text honey. He can't email. He can't Skype. He can't do a TikTok. Whatever is out right now, okay? So he communicates with us through people, animals, signs, miracles, and wonders, honey. And it's mentioned all in the Bible, okay, of how God communicates to us. So we have to be open to how God talks to us. So when Carla Googled what it meant, it was something in the lines of she's prosperity and abundance, and she's being watched over. Okay? And when I read that part, I'm like, oh my God, like I need her to celebrate that she's never alone. Spiritually, none of us are ever alone. So I don't know what Carla might have been feeling or going through that particular day, but God wanted her to know, like, I'm there. Okay, your angels are there. Like I said, we all have angels who are assigned to us the day we were born, and I don't know why we don't call on them or why we don't pray to them. Like I said, angels are in the Quran and the Holy Bible, so you can pray to them. Okay, but however Carla was feeling, God wanted to let her know, like, I'm with you. And the fact that the bird sat there for an hour was like, you're going to look at me, like you're going to, like, I have a message for you. Okay, so when it comes to your spirit animal, honey, like, you don't have to look for it. It will literally present itself to you. Okay, so I just want you to, like, when you see a butterfly, or a dragonfly, they are associated with those who have passed on or transitioned. And a butterfly often represents your loved one being with you in the spirit form, letting you know that they're happy and they're okay and that they're with you. Okay? I remember when I was mourning the loss of my grandmom's sister. And at the time I wasn't working. I told you I was in school full time at Howard. I'm like, oh my God, I need a job. I'm about to graduate. I just lost my aunt. What am I going to do? I still got school to focus on. And I was like bawling my eyes out, y'all. And when I looked out my window on my balcony, like the railing, looking at me was a cardinal. Now, a cardinal is it represents your angels watching over you, or a sign of a deceased loved one who happens to be female. Mind you, I told you I was thinking of my grandma's sister, my Aunt Kathy, who had transitioned just maybe like a week or two prior, and I was mourning her. And much like Carla, the bird was just sitting there, and it didn't go away. Like, it didn't sit there and fly away. It sat there and looked at me, and looked at me. If you've ever seen a cardinal, it's like bright red like this, okay? Or brighter. But it is a sign that a deceased loved one who happens to be female is making contact with you. So when I looked that up, I started crying because my aunt, although she transitioned, she was in a hospital on hospice, and she had recently lost her husband of 50 years. So she was really ill, and like I know she was praying to God to take her home. So she was ready to transition back to her spiritual self. And she was also in ministry, and unbeknownst to me, at her funeral, I didn't even know she pastored the church in the 70s until then. But I say that to say, like, she was calling on the Lord to call her home because she was ready to go home. But when that bird appeared on my balcony, on my ledge, and I looked up what it meant, I'm like, oh my God, it's Aunt Kathy. Letting me know, Sadia, I'm okay. It's okay if you cry, but I'm okay. So I just want you guys to know how our ancestors, our loved ones, our angels, and even God communicates to us. And I don't want you guys to think that God is some being that's so big and so far away and so busy with billions of people that he's not concerned about you. Honey, you could not be more wrong. Okay? God is concerned. Just how he allowed that cardinal to appear for me in my time of lament, allowed that mourning dove to literally sit outside of Carla's window for an hour. And not only that, another mourning dove joined the one that was there. I'm like, oh my God, it's two? So look up what that means. So it was like basically double of what the original meaning meant. And also too, mourning doves are a good sign of relationships. So if Carla is with somebody, honey, whoever she's with is who she's supposed to be with. That's why it's showing up. Okay? So I just want to give you guys an idea of how God communicates to us, because we need to stop doubting how our supernatural experiences. Like I said, God cannot call you on a phone. He cannot FaceTime you. He cannot make a YouTube video and upload it. So he has to communicate with you in other ways, especially if you calling on him, saying, God, give me a sign, or, am I doing the right thing? Like, you think those prayers are bouncing off the walls? No, he's going to answer you, but you have to be open to the how. And that's what this video is for. Like I said, when it comes to my pilgrimage, I come from humble beginnings. I come from a single parent home. I was basically raised by my mother and my late grandmother, who I miss so much. But when I've been through a lot of obstacles and trials and tribulations where I called on God because I didn't know how I was going to finish school at Howard, or how I was going to pay my bills, or if, my loans were going to run out for school and I would be able to finish. But every time I worried about those things, God would send me signs now that when I look back on, it was God telling me, like, yo, I got you. And I just want you guys to know if God leads you somewhere, he will provide for you. Like I said, I was led to DC for what I thought was a job, and I found out this is where my calling is, in ministry. So I get excited when people come to me and say, hey, like I had this strange bird staring at me, or I keep seeing all types of animals, crossing my path. It's like, oh my God, like God is connecting with you, to you through nature. And these animals have special meanings. Biblically, birds are all in the Bible. When Noah knew the flood was over, a dove, let him know that the flood is, like it's over. You can come out of the ark. Okay? So birds are extremely, extremely special biblically. So again, the morning dove, I told you what that meant with Carla, the cardinal with me, a blue jay. I was seeing a lot of blue jays as well. And if a blue jay is your spirit totem, you're usually a person who is assertive, who is confident, who can be aggressive at times. Because they say blue jays are very aggressive. But also, it is a representation of a deceased male in your family. But just to share, like I said, I don't want to make this video too long, but just how God uses animals to contact us and to confirm things for us, okay? It was one time where I think I might have shared this with you all already. So, like, all I pray about is being a mom, right? Because I finished school, I've grown, I matured in Christ, I did my spiritual awakening, my dark night of the soul. And I'm like, okay, I'm finally at a place as to where I'm ready to settle down, get married, and be a mother. So I'll say this. Oftentimes over the years, I would see bunnies. Bunnies or rabbits are a sign of, one, prosperity and financial abundance. And honey, she loves a good coin. Okay, and I told you I am looking for a new career opportunity as of right now and multiple streams of income, but it also means fertility. Because, rabbits have up to 12 babies at a time. So that doesn't mean when you see it today, on a Sunday, you're going to get pregnant by Monday. No, honey. It just means that your prayers are heard and they're answered. Okay? Again, and I think I mentioned it in a past video about God's timing and our timing, and to let it go. God hears your prayers, but you must let go of the time, because if you don't, it's going to seem like you're waiting forever. Like I said, if you read about the story of Abraham and Sarah, like they were waiting for Isaac. Are you ready? For 3 decades, 30 years. Okay? But God gave them the promise, but that's the whole, and I definitely talked about that in the previous video, how Sarah got so impatient where she had Abraham sleep with the maid and she got pregnant with Ishmael. It was a whole mess. Okay? So God, like I said, when he sends your spirit animal, it's like, okay, Carla, okay, Sadia, like I hear you. I'm going to answer you. But in my time, but I want you to know that I hear you. And if you're sad or depressed and he sends us a cardinal or a mourning dove, like he did Carla or myself, or bunnies or, rabbits, because I'm thinking about being a mom, he's telling us, like, you will have those things in my time. But right now, I'm sending you these signs to let you know that not only do I hear your cry, I hear your prayers, but it's coming. Okay, so your spirit told him, like I said, guys, you will never, I promise you, you will never have to look for it. It will literally seek you out. And just how that cardinal sat on my balcony, and just how that mourning dove, not one but two, sat on Carla's windowsill, it will stare at you. And so it's like, okay, Carla, I'm here. Okay, Sadia, I'm here. So you pay attention to them and just understand, you will have multiple spirit animals, and like an owl or a lion, which means courage, if you happen to see it on TV or whatever. But especially if you're, like I said, you're in the house and something is like this bird was staring at her so hard that she felt it. So I said, oh, you have to look that up. I said, because if you felt something was staring at you and it was a bird, I said, oh, it has a message. And it's important. It's imperative that she gets it and understands it and holds it close to her heart. And when she looked up what it meant, she was like, oh my God, like I needed that. Okay, so I just want you to understand that when you call out to God, God is not some being who's so busy that he can't attend to us. Okay, he loves us, but we have to be open to how God communicates to us and with us. And I want to go into synchronicity. Synchronicity is signs that of our inner like feeling is or thought is confirmed externally, but it comes in a way where it shouldn't even really connect, but it does in this area. For example, and I have many of these. I recently started selling my designer items on Poshmark, right? And I was thinking about a relationship, or like what is my life like, the things I wanted in my life and my prayers, because there's two things I've been praying for that has not manifested yet. And I know that when you pray for something and it hasn't manifested, it's either A, not the right time, or it's not for you at all, right? So I'm thinking about this one thing specifically that I want. Okay, mind you, Poshmark is a website where you sell shoes, clothes, bags, whatever. And every time somebody follows me on my page or, sends me an offer for whatever I'm selling, I get a notification, right? So here I am thinking about something I've been praying for. You're like, God, oh my God, what is taking so long, yo? I get a notification, y'all, from Poshmark, and it says, let go of wanting things that are not for you. I'm like, oh my God, God, I hear you. What is a message like that coming from Poshmark? And I knew God was concerned about me. Like, there's billions of people in the world, but he's still in tune and concerned about little old me. But he wanted to let me know whatever I want isn't for me. And I said, okay, Lord, well, whatever you want for me is what I want for me too. But just that instance is a sign of divine synchronicities. It is answers to our prayers. And it can come in the form of a notification online or a person, or through a sign on a bus. I remember I was going through a very difficult time at my job, and I was just very depressed, and it was just a lot going on in my life. And I was around the corner from my home where I currently live, and it was a truck. I was in the left lane, wanted to make a left turn on my street, and there was a huge truck that said, seeing you through. And I knew that was God. It was like, I'm with you. And no matter what you're going through, like, I'm here. I'm going to see you through this, like I've seen you through and held your hand through everything else. Like, you are never alone. And I can go on and on about divine synchronicity and signs and how God communicates to us. But I just want you guys to believe it and to understand it. It's no such thing as coincidence. And you have to understand that you cannot limit how God will answer a prayer or communicate to you. And there's been times, and although I'm in clergy, and I told Carla and a lot of other people who cross my path, like, although I'm in clergy and I minister to people all the time, it's been a lot of times I know God spoke through Carla, strangers, my friends, my mom, because God can't call me on my cell phone. He can't FaceTime me. So he'll speak through people who he know I respect. Okay? And also, too, A word from God can come through an enemy, but the word will resonate with your spirit so much that you know that God has to be talking through or talking to and through this person for you to get this message. And as I mentioned, when God was leading me to DC, I was scared. And I'm like, especially when he told me to go to seminary and he told me what school to go to, because like I wanted to go to Georgetown, but I just missed the deadline by like a week or not even a week, like a few days. And my only school was Howard, and the Lord said, go to Howard. And I'm like, I've never just applied to just one school. So I'm like, okay, I told my friend, like, if I don't get into Howard the first time, I'm not going back because I already got a master's degree. I don't need another one. Like, I already got one that I can make money from. And he was like, if you don't get in, that doesn't mean that it's not for you. You just got to try again. But up until that time, I got my acceptance letter. So I actually submitted my application super early, which was in like January, and it wasn't due until like March or something. So I waited months, right? And I didn't get my acceptance letter until like the end of April. But that whole time, I'm like, Lord, are you sure I'm supposed to go to DC? Because I know DC is really expensive. Although I loved it, it's not cheap to live here. Let's be clear. And God kept allowing me to meet A, Howard alum, or B, when I would drive, I would see a lot of Maryland, DC tags, or I just kept running into Howard everything. And I'm like, okay, like maybe I'm supposed to be here. So when I moved to DC, like everything just fell into place. Like from my professors to my colleagues, my peers in seminary, it was right. It felt right. When I was looking for my apartment, I didn't have to put like a down payment or like put money up front for my rent. I just moved in because I was already, at that time, I was already accepted into Howard. So they were like, if you're a graduate student, you don't have to pay anything. I'm not saying not rent free, but like pay a few months rent up front, how I know most people do. I didn't have to do any of that. So it's safe to say when God is leading you somewhere, like literally you will see God's hands in your situation and it will just all come together. But I say that to say, I asked God for signs, like, are you sure? Am I supposed to be here? And like I said, I saw the license plate, or I kept meeting Howard alum, and when I got here, I had people who helped me. So I just want you guys to understand how God communicates with us and what divine synchronicity is. It's like your inner world and your outer world are connected, but it's like in strange ways. Again, my last example, because like y'all, I can go on for hours of how much God talks to me in the most esoteric and supernatural ways, but it's so special because I know my Father is concerned about me, and he's talking back. I was in my car on the way from the gym, and I was crying like, Lord, again, I was in school looking for a job. I'm like, I just want a job, and I want, to do things for myself, and I just want to be successful, blah, blah, blah. And I stopped at a red light. I mean, tears were falling down my face so hard I had to take my glasses off. I naturally wear glasses. I just never wear them on YouTube. But I wear glasses, and I was crying so hard like I couldn't see. So I wiped my tears at the red light, and in front of me was a car. Of course, and the license plate around it, it says, no worries, God got you covered. So I started crying again, because God was telling me, like, don't worry. Like, I see your tears, I hear you, but don't worry because I got you. So when I look back over my life and see that God answered my prayers, and I'm fine. Like, I've never missed a meal, y'all. I never had to dress different. I never was, missed a payment on my car or where I live. And that's not me. This is God having his hands on my life. And I'm so humbled that, one, I always journaled to write down my pilgrimage. And Carla even mentioned, like, you should write a book, because if you write it, I would definitely read it. But she's not the first person to say that. So I'm like, okay, Lord, you must want me to write a book before you call me home. So that's probably something I will do, because like I said, and another sign from God is if you keep getting the same message from different people at different times who don't know each other, that is God talking through these people. And the reason why you keep hearing the same message is because you're not getting it. I'm not getting it. So whether he's speaking through Carla, my mama, my best friend, a teacher, I know, like, okay, this is the Lord, especially if I hear the same thing. But just how he told me that he got me covered, I believed him. And when I think back from then to now, like, God came through like he always does. And I want you to know, God will come through for you too. But when your spirit animals appear to you, such as the butterfly, and you lost your mom or your brother, like, that's them. Or if you don't see an animal and you just feel the presence of the Lord, or you feel the presence of your grandmother like I do, that person is there. Like I said, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And the spiritual world is your true form and is much more powerful than the physical. I need you to understand that. And they can contact us and connect with us. And although we might miss them physically, they're never far from our hearts and our lives. And I just want you to know, like I said, you have angels, honey, that were assigned to you by God when you came out of your mother's womb. Call on them. Ask them to speak to you, and they will. But oftentimes it is through nature, through other people, and signs, miracles, and wonders. Don't ever limit God. Don't ever limit your angels or even those who passed on, because they have the most unique ways of showing up for us. Okay? So, Carla, if you're watching, honey, I need you to know how special you are. And God literally made that bird sit there for an hour. Y'all, side note, it came back today. So I don't know if Carla might have been doubting, honey, but it came back. And that's what the Lord will do. He will keep coming back. He will keep knocking on your door. He will keep sitting and waiting and looking at you to let you know he's there. He's there. So please be open to the unique ways of how God communicates and connects to us. And I just want you to know, side note, spoiler alert, honey, you will never understand God. Because if you did understand why he does or don't do things, you wouldn't need to call on him. None of us would. So you will never understand God, but that's the beauty of it, because you will keep seeking his face. You will keep seeking for understanding. But when he does things, like have an animal that doesn't normally sit that long, it's a message that he's trying to convey to you. It's a message of love and comfort, or sometimes it could be a warning, depending on the species or the message you received. Like I would say, sometimes when you're rushing for work, if it's a traffic jam or something forces you to slow down, God is protecting you from something. Okay? But I just want you to be a free spirit. Stop thinking so hard. Stop taking life so seriously, because it's so short. Okay? Enjoy life. Enjoy God or Allah or whatever. Adonai, Elohim, Jehovah, whatever you call our higher power. Call on it. Call on him. He's there. He knows. But be open to how God is trying to connect with you. And it's special. And I'm so happy for Carla. I'm trying to fight back tears, because it's like the fact that, like, I don't think y'all understand. Like, that's not normal for a bird to sit that long. Like, it's just not. And the meaning of it was all good. I mean, whether Carla believes it or not, she has a prosperous life, an abundant life ahead of her. But the fact that when she told me she saw a 2, I said, oh my God, 2 is special. And I know when you see a two of anything, it's usually a pair. So either Carla is about to meet somebody special, or she's already with somebody special, and God is letting you know, like, yes, Carla, this is the right one that I chose for you. You know, But I just want you guys to embrace God, to love God, to talk to God, and be open to the ways He talks. He will talk back to us, okay? As I mentioned, I didn't want to be long with this video. I do have to work tomorrow. She got to cook and all that. But I just wanted to put this out there because I want to help you guys understand that God is not far away from you. He's within our hearts. We are made in God's image. But I would just want you to recognize and understand how to hear the Lord's messages, okay? So please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If this video has blessed you, let me know. If it has blessed somebody else or you think it might, share it with them. But I wish you guys a happy Sunday. Good night, and until next week. Goodbye.